Okay, so this is another installment of TV and movie experts, Mr. Josh Jack and Mr. B Lion here to talk about some more TVs and shows. And I want to say that I tried to get through this movie, and I want you to watch it. And maybe I might influence you a little. I hope I don't. It's You might have heard of it. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called The Comedian with Robert De Niro.
Oh my God, that's the movie that I've been wanting to watch for the longest time. Is that the movie with Rupert Pupkin?
I think so, but listen, this movie is so bad. I got through a half an hour of it and I turned it off. So I never, I never seen a movie about comedy, stand-up comedy, that I couldn't get through. So I got through half an hour. I should go back and rewatch it. Pretty much, it takes place like I guess back in the older days. I forgot what the comedian he's supposed to be playing, but he's on stage in the beginning, and he used to be an actor as a kid. He was a child actor. Now he's a comedian, and this guy is heckling him. He's like, "Come on, pal, we didn't come here to see this new shit. We want to see we want to see Eddie. You want to show Eddie." And he goes, "Well," so he starts fucking with the guy. So they have a video camera. They start videotaping him, and he gets pissed. He goes, "You videotaping me?" So he goes in the audience, and then the guy does something to him, throws something at him. So he beats the guy up. The guy takes him to court. He has him going to jail. So the beginning was actually okay. But Robert De Niro was a great actor. But in this movie, his acting, even as a comedian, he's just shit. Like, he's on stage, and he's just so not funny. And even though he's pretending to be an old-timer comedian, and then he pretty much his brother Danny DeVito is his brother in the movie, and he's fucking and all the jokes in the movie are just really bad. You know what I mean? Like, they're not even funny when he fucks with people. And I got through a half an hour of it and I turned it off.
Okay, so this actually, I'm looking at this, and it looks like it got a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's like usually any movie about stand-up is usually good. It's just that even when he's on stage, I know he's not a comedian, but it's like you don't even feel it. It's just like it's just not good, and it's just the jokes in the movie are not even bad. Maybe it's because it's supposed to be. I'm ahead of if this is how comedy was back in the days, and man, thank God I wasn't born back in the 70s or 80s. It stunk, man. It's just dry jokes, just really stinky. I mean, I should go back and just when I get a chance to see if I can get through the whole movie. And I think it's a 2-hour movie. It's long, and I only got through a half an hour.
So it was. What I feel like I would be able to get through it because I kind of get this weird enjoyment out of shitty movies.
But it was, but I do too, and it wasn't even cheesy bad where it's like, oh, this is so bad, I gotta keep watching. It was just bad.
It looks like Jeff Ross was one of the writers.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, so I didn't look up who wrote it.
He couldn't even write a good movie about a comedian.
But once again, I mean, that's just my opinion. I didn't watch the whole thing, so. But yeah, it was just a half an hour, and it was just bad. And also, I tried to check out some new shows. I checked out these 2 shows on Showtime. One is called SMILF, Single Mother I Like to Fuck. It's this white chick, and it's kind of like, she is a single mom, obviously. Now, the first episode, I only got through 15 minutes, and I turned it off. Maybe I was in a bad mood that night, and I was just turning everything off. But when I saw Rosie O'Donnell in the movie, not to say I hate Rosie O'Donnell, I just got turned off immediately. I don't know why. I was like, ugh. But she's in the movie, and she's trying to get laid, and she's like sexually frustrated, but she has a kid. And I think she still lives with her baby's daddy or something, and he gets pussy, and she masturbates or something like that. And then guys are turned off to her because she has a kid, and they don't want to get involved with her. I got through like 15, 20 minutes of that episode and turned it off. And then I tried to watch this show called The Chi, SHI, like Chicago. I think it's supposed to be like Black Shameless.
Oh.
Well, they don't call it that, but that's my definition. But I couldn't get. Once again, maybe I was just in an impatient mood that day. I got through 2 minutes and I turned it off. I don't know why. It was like a transgender teen. It looked like a black girl lesbian, and she pulls up to this store on a bike, and she's like, "Hey, yo, what's up, man? Can I get some beef jerky?" And he's like, "You gotta pay full price." He's like, "Yeah, but if I give you," and I was just like, I don't know why it bothered me. I just turned it off. I think I'm just I'm like the worst critic ever. I'm like, if this shit ain't entertaining me, I'm just turning it off.
Well, so you watched all of those in the same night?
Yeah, but see, I didn't get through all of it.
The halo effect, where one thing is bad, so everything else you do around that time is also bad. I wonder if the first movie was so shitty that it took away your ability to enjoy anything else.
Well, it is possible. I watched this on I stayed in Friday night and I wanted to go out, but because of the weather, the wind, I stayed in. So maybe that's why I was maybe mad because I had to stay in. I don't know. So so what was the movie you watched?
Sure. So I watched My Life as a Zucchini. But real quick, I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you know about this, the movie I was talking about with Rupert Pupkin, because you were saying that Robert De Niro played a comedian. I was thinking that you were talking about King of Comedy. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think so.
So that's from 1982. Robert De Niro plays Rupert Pupkin, and that movie actually got a 90%. So I'm curious, in the newer movie, did it seem like he did a bad job, or was it more the writing?
I don't think he did too much of a bad job. It was just that, it wasn't funny, but that's just my taste. But I didn't watch the whole movie, so, I mean, I have to fast forward a half an hour.
The old one was a Scorsese movie, so no wonder it was better than the fucking whoever made this one.
All right, so what about the Zucchini?
Sure, so I watched My Life as a Zucchini, and it's this stop-motion cartoon. It's on Netflix, and it's strange because this listing that I was looking at said that all these different American actors did the voice, and maybe there's two different versions out there, but the one I watched was in French, and there were subtitles, so I mean, that right there, usually I don't bother watching a movie if I have to read, because I'm not watching a movie to read. This movie came out in 2016. Looks like it got, well, I don't see a Rotten Tomatoes rating. 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. It's pretty much, see, I don't know, I never know how much to say about TV and movies without spoiling it. So I guess I'll just say spoiler alert for the listeners, and it's about an hour and 7 minutes. It's about this kid who lived at home with his mom. His mom is clearly this abusive mother of some kind, and he's in the attic, and something happens, and his mom ends up dying, so he has to go to this home for orphan children, and it's like a story about him trying to fit in. And there's this bully there, and he meets this girl. I realized that in my summary of it, I really don't have much to say other than the fact that the animation was great. It's like, you ever watch any kind of, I'm sure you've seen some kind of stop motion film before. Say like, you ever seen like Wallace and Gromit or Chicken Run or even Robot Chicken?
I haven't watched the animation film in a while. And it seems like this is the second one in a row you watched, because the last one you watched, didn't you watch the Emoji Movie? So you're
you know what? I really am a child. I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good movie. I forget why his nickname was Zucchini.
How many Doritos would you give this?
Out of
5.
We going 5? I would say that 5 Doritos. It's a solid movie. Yes, it's solid. It's really good. It's short, so if you have a short attention span, you will have an easy time with this one. It's oh, you know what? And one of the scenes I liked was when the kids were talking about sex. They were, I don't know how old the kids are supposed to be because they're really cartoony, but their like lack of understanding sex was pretty funny. Like they thought when a guy comes that his dick actually explodes. It was pretty funny. So it was a good balance of sincerity, like emotional story with humor. Thought it was pretty good. Trying to think. Oh, I watched after the Oscars last night. There was a new show called Sundays with Alec Baldwin. The two people it's basically a long form interview show. So there's no talk show bits like what you have on a show, say like Jimmy Fallon with the game show stuff and the monologue and all that, and the formality of the desk and the suit and all that stuff. It's just two people sitting across from each other, like Barbara Walters style, except it's like a fun conversation. So he was interviewing Jerry Seinfeld and Kate McKinnon. And I feel like Alec Baldwin is actually a good host for this show because he was willing, like they got into real topics. Like they were talking about Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. Jerry was great on the show. Jerry said the same thing that I did because we're both great comedians. He said that, and I'm being sarcastic for the listener, but he said that he thinks that this show is going to be a real success. And I agree because people listen to podcasts and watch podcasts because they want a real conversation. They want something longer than the 5 minutes or 10 minutes you get on a talk show, like The Tonight Show, etc. And this is just simply people sitting down, having a conversation, nothing fancy, nothing special. And I really think that people are going to enjoy it, and I'll probably check it out in the future. Does this sound like a type of show that you would see yourself watching?
I mean, probably not. I don't watch interview shows really. Like,
you listen to podcast, like you listen to. How often do you listen to Howard Stern?
I listen to him whenever he's on, but I fast forward the celebrity interviews. Well, because his interviews have changed. He doesn't ask the hard hitting questions. Like the last interview he did was with Jennifer Lawrence. And, she's this hot chick, and she was just bored. I was kind of listening to her, and she's not interested, but I guess it's not her fault. She was born this hot, rich chick, and, she's famous and all that. She didn't have to work for nothing, but, I don't know. I mean, I listened to it, and it was hard for me to get through it. I kind of zoned out, But, I listen to interviews on podcasts mostly, yeah, but as far as watching, you can see it, right? It's not audio, you can see it. The Alec Baldwin.
Right.
Yeah, as far as
you can see it, but it's not like a formulaic like Tonight Show. It's more like imagine like Barbara Walters or somebody sitting down, or even what's his name before he got ousted for the sexual scandal, Charlie Rose. That idea where like they'll talk about stuff, show a few clips. Honestly, they could probably release it as a podcast because there's nothing inherently visual about it that you would have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I might like it. Who knows? I might check it out. But I don't know. I don't really watch like even Tonight shows or anything or interviews unless something really, it's a clip or something and it's really interesting. But who knows? I might like it. I don't know. Don't plan to check it out, but maybe I might.
Here's a question: if you were forced to watch a talk show, one of those Tonight Show style talk shows, every night for the rest of your life, what show would you pick?
I don't know, because I don't watch any of them. I don't know who's better, like Kimmel or Colbert or Seth Meyers. They all seem like liberal douchebags. They all just do Trump jokes over and over. I don't know.
I gotta say, like, I feel like the person that I think has the most integrity is Jimmy Kimmel. Like, he went on to Jay Leno's show to bash him for taking Conan's spot. Look, yes, people make... I'm actually not too familiar with Jimmy Kimmel's Trump stuff. Not everybody's a huge Trump fan like you, though.
I'm a big fan of his work.
Did you vote? Did you vote in the presidential election?
I didn't vote for anybody. So I got to see John Claude Van Johnson. I got
Oh
the
yeah.
whole first season. I already got to watch 2 episodes last night, and I gotta tell you, I like it. It's a good show. Because it's just John Claude is pretty much he's really got a good sense of humor about making fun of himself. You know, he's a washed up actor, and he decides to get back into acting. But at the same time, he's on a secret mission to take down this thing, and he's going on these missions with this chick he's in love with, who they broke up, and they're making fun of his acting, like he can't do the split anymore because he's too old. He can barely do his famous roundhouse kicks. He makes fun of his movies, even though they were a success. And I'm really liking it. And I watched the first 2 episodes. I think Will Fitz said it's canceled already, but I'm looking forward to watching the next 4 episodes.
So if you're someone who doesn't have the means to get this in an illegal fashion, what network is this on?
I think it's Netflix. No, actually, no. I think it's either YouTube Red. Will Fitz said it's YouTube Red. I think,
Uh,
but I could be wrong. It's either YouTube Red or Netflix.
did did James Vanderbeek do a similar show? Not obviously with the kind of martial arts type of thing, but making fun of his past career. Sounds kind of familiar to me.
He might have. I never heard of it. I only heard of this one. But yeah, I think it is YouTube Red because that's where I first heard. Yeah, it is YouTube Red because that's where I first saw the preview. I remember I saw it on YouTube, and then I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I also walking.
So if you're not someone who knows his career too well, is this something you can still get into?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it would help a little bit more, but yeah, it would be. I mean, it would help a little bit, but it would be good. It's still good. I think you're still like because once again he makes fun of himself, and it's really cool the way they add the special effects in. That he fucks up, and then they have to cut, and it's just him holding like a fan or something, and and it's just it's pretty good. Also, oh yeah, I forgot. I saw this movie called The Big Sick. It's pretty much it's amazing. I watched the Comedian movie, and I watched a half an hour of that, like I said, and then I watched this movie. Now this movie is a Judd Apatow movie, I believe, and it's about a Pakistani guy, and he is a comedian, a stand-up comedian, and he's also an Uber driver, and the premise of the movie is he meets this American white girl at a stand-up show. He has a one-night stand with her. They start dating. They start liking each other. But he's also his parents. They're very religious. They're trying to do the whole arranged marriage thing, so they keep bringing these girls over. And then the girl gets sick. She has some sort of lung failure. So he goes to. So they end up, before that happened, they end up breaking up because he says that she finds out he lied. He said that hey, my parents want to fix me up with a Hindu girl, whatever, arranged marriage. She said you lied on it, so she gets mad, but then she gets sick. So she tells her parents about it, and then he goes to the hospital for days. And the girl's mom is kind of mad at him and stuff, but he's trying to get along with the parents. They start bonding and getting along, and the movie wasn't that funny, but you know what? I'll get more into it, but I would give it 3.3 out of 5, and they get better. It is a good movie. It's like a romantic comedy. So pretty much, the only part that made me laugh in the movie was one of his comedy friends is on stage, and he says, "Anybody here out of town?" And the girl's parents clap. They went to go see the show to get a distraction, and he goes, "Oh, so what are you in town for?" And the mom goes, "Oh, my daughter's in a coma." And it just gets really quiet. He goes, "Oh." And he just goes to the next person. "Oh, what are you here for?" I thought that was funny. Other than that, movie was not hilariously funny. There's a few chuckles in it. But so long story short, what happens is the girl wakes up out of the coma, and he's like, "Oh, that's great and everything." And she's like, "Oh, I don't like you. You're a piece of shit." She turns out to be a cunt. She's like, you hurt me and everything. Get out." So his parents kick him out of the family because he doesn't want to do the arranged marriage thing. So he ends up he just says to his family, "Look, I'm moving to New York to be a comedian." And then he moves to New York, and then the chick, she visits him, and I guess they end up together, whatever.
So I don't know if you know this, but I haven't seen the movie, but the guy, star of the movie, Kumail Nanjiani,
Yeah.
it's a true story about his life.
Okay.
I'm sure there might be. Have you ever watched Silicon Valley, by the way? Because he's on that show too.
Oh no, is that what T.J. Miller used to be on that?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to. I think I watched one episode, half of an episode, but I didn't really get into it.
I feel like people either love or hate T.J. Miller. Do you find him annoying?
I don't know. I don't know too much about. Like I know who he is. I remember the first thing I heard about him was he read a review. I mean, he wrote an article about Dane Cook. Did you hear about this? This is years ago.
Oh, yes. Yes.
When the Batman thing came out,
the comic store.
The Batman thing came out. Dane Cook made a Batman joke or something. He was also like shitting on women too, and the jokes weren't even that vicious. And T.J. Miller was like, "Oh, he bumped us all, and he was just up there. He hates women, and he needs to get therapy." And I think Jim Norton actually stood up for Dane Cook. He was like, "Everyone gets bumped, relax, whatever." That was the first time I think I heard of him, and I try to watch his show on Comedy Central when he dresses up like that Ninja Turtle thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, no, I didn't see that show.
There's a show, I don't know what it's called, but I think he's kind of ripping off Eric Andre a little bit, except he looks like this. It's like a monster interviewing people, but he does the voice.
Oh, Goreburger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like kind of like an Eric Andre type of thing. I tried to watch one episode of that, couldn't get through the whole thing. I don't have a problem with T.J. Miller at all, but I imagine some comics don't, like him.
But yeah, I remember that incident you're talking about, and I listened to Dane Cook actually went on to Joe Rogan's show, and I thought it was bullshit that he would like talk about his material, but I think it was clearly just an anger because he got bumped. I really think that's all it was. Anyway, Silicon Valley, it's a show that I enjoy, but I don't know if that's just because I'm really into technology.
Yeah. And
I'll have to check. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. What you gonna check out?
Well, I was just gonna ask you. I'll ask you this at the end. The shows that all of the shows that you had mentioned. Yeah, I'll ask you that at the end.
You say you're gonna check out what?
Well, I'm going to check out a few of the shows. So you watched The Median, you watched The Shy, you watched John Claude Van Johnson, The Big Sick. Was there another show in there that you had watched or movie?
SMILF. That's a Showtime.
SMILF. That sounds horrible.
Also, Walking Dead is back on. Just watched the second episode. It's one of those shows that it's kind of like, it's just a full circle type of show. I mean, like, one of the main characters dies, and it's supposed to be like this big thing, like, oh, whoa, and then they can meet new characters that come along, and then, they build then they die, and then it's supposed to be, it gets repetitive, but it's still a good show, but it's kind of like, all right, we get it, it's like they're in a zombie apocalypse, and, it's just, they're trying to get this real life back together, a civilization, and it's still a good show. I'm not going to trash it, but it's the 8th season, almost 9th season.
Is it one of those shows that's more about the visuals than, like, that's more important than the actual story?
Well, it's based on a comic book, but I'm not sure how much is in there. But they just killed off one of the main characters in the first episode of the season, and now they're, going around. And, of course, I'm still watching Crashing. Let's watch the 8th episode of that today, with the roast battle. There was a roast battle with Pete Holmes and his girlfriend in the show, and it was actually a pretty good episode. Not every episode is good, but this episode is good. So
I haven't seen that one yet. Was that the one that came right after the one that where they went to the NACA, the college convention?
So okay. This is Yeah, so this is the one after. So I just watched that today. And it was a good episode. I'm still into the show, and it just made me realize when I was watching The Comedian and I was watching The Big Sick, I was like, God, like, why is like, comedy's always been out there? Why is it now all of a sudden people are fascinated by it? You know, like now these shows and movies and everything. It's like it's crazy, but I don't know.
You think there's more? Oh, you're talking about like shows about stand-up comedy?
Yeah, like like it was like Louis. That was years ago, and then once again now Crashing, and then then other movies like The Comedian and stuff, and comedies in it and stuff. It's I don't know. It's always been popular, but it seems like I don't know. Just now, it's just people just get more ideas to do movies and shows about it.
Well, you were saying that over the last few years that even doing like open mics, that the amount of people going to shows has increased a lot. So maybe there's just a lot more interest in stand-up comedy these days than there used to be.
Well, I don't know if it's people are interested in it, but I think there's a lot more people doing comedy, and a lot more people now with the internet doing it. So it's just a
I
higher.
mean, aren't there like 52 stand-up specials coming out this year on Netflix? Like some crazy amount.
I think there is, yeah.
Yeah. Um, have you seen any stand-up specials lately?
No, I mean, the weird thing is, I think I was listening to comedy CDs and watching comedy still when I started comedy for like the first year or two, and then I stopped. And it wasn't even about stealing material because I never did it. It was just more about just even if I go to one or two open mics a week, I usually stay for the whole show. So I guess because of that, I just I get enough of it. You know what I mean? It's like every once in a while I'll listen to a stand-up album, like only very few. Like I listened to Otto and George. That's one of my favorite CDs. And I put it on, and I was half asleep, and I was still laughing because it's just him on stage with his puppet Otto, and he's just going off and his filthy jokes and stuff, and it's so funny. And I go back and listen to an album once in a while, but I don't watch comedy specials anymore.
You know, I stopped. By the way, I have to check out Otto and George. I know so many people who, say that he's hilarious.
Yeah, it's called A Boy in His Log. That's his comedy album. It's real funny.
Boy in His Log. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So you watch enough stand-up at open mics that you're like, I don't need to watch Dave Chappelle. I watch Gary with his jokes about his dick or something.
Yeah, I watched Bill Miller do an alien nigger joke. That's good enough for me. But like, as far as like, I don't mind listening to a classic comedy album, like I said, like once in a while. But as far as stand-up specials, I don't know. I think it's because they just give everybody. It seems like a stand-up special these days. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And I just don't have the interest. I think when I was addicted to it, I used to watch all the Comedy Central presents. And then I think the last season I watched, I think around the time I started comedy, I didn't find hardly anybody funny. I don't know if his comedy was changing or what it was, but I didn't find anybody laugh out loud funny. I don't know if it's because I got older or it was what it was. And I think I just lost interest. And the only specials I want to see, because I hear people talking about it, is Dave Chappelle. I didn't see his first Netflix comedy special, and then he just put out two more. And I love Dave Chappelle.
Last year you put out 2, and this year you put out 2.
So I think I want to see at least one of those. But I still haven't even. I think I was going to do that actually when I was pirating some stuff, but I totally forgot. But I think he's the only person I think I want to check out, just because his two specials, Killing Them Softly, If For What It's Worth, are some of my favorite actual comedy specials out there. Just the material is so sharp and funny that I would love to watch it, but I haven't yet.
Okay. Yeah, so, personally, I want to check out the Chris Rock special at some point.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have anything
before we wrap this up? That's all I have today.
Yeah, so we covered a lot here. So if anybody has any opinions or topics or any movies or shows to check out, please email us at tlndshow@outlook.com and let us know. And let us know what you've been watching and what movies you think suck and all that stuff. This has been TV and Movie Experts. Experts.